Welcome back to the channel, Indiana at the voice of college football. We are fresh off the backs of Indiana's 56-9 victory over Kennesaw State. It is 3:35 on Saturday, so I haven't heard any of the press conferences, haven't had a chance to look at the snap counts or really take a look at the stats. So this will all be just instant reaction off the game. One thing I wanted to cover first, the fans. I thought the students, again, phenomenal. Pictures from or videos coming out from before the game depicted the stands maybe didn't look as full as they actually were. And big shout out to the students. They absolutely showed out. But obviously, the crowd that hasn't responded yet in a big way is the alumni slash like local crowd of Bloomington that won't either show up for the game or stay past halftime. And while I get it, it is a large financial commitment. I'm not somebody who lives in Bloomington, and I felt not embarrassed, but just like large amounts of FOMO from not being able to be at this game. That's going to be the one thing that has to change in a big way. And I think we're going to see that with the Illinois game. Again, I didn't have a chance to really watch their performance today. I was locked in on Indiana, but apparently they looked pretty good, although they had some issues themselves. So I'm thinking for the Illinois game, the crowd's not going to be an issue. But the fact that we're still talking about this and it's year two of a really good football program, obviously a little bit frustrating. Uh, but man, take out that second quarter where everybody thought that things were going to shit. And we got some interesting tweets from some people at the game live. And there was just a lot of weird feelings in the stadium and weird feelings from watching the game. But other than that, man, this was a phenomenal performance by this Indiana Hoosiers team. Brian Haynes' defense didn't allow a first down until the fourth or fifth possession of the game. I think they had 5 tackles for loss in the first quarter. It was utterly dominant. They were phenomenal. Mikal Kamara got his first sack. That was big time. But just the team looked great. Lewis Moore had another interception, and just thought the defense was suffocating. That's exactly what we needed to see. There was some issues that kept popping up, right? Like the runs up the middle, a couple big plays popped. Like you like to think that better programs are definitely going to be looking to take advantage of that. There was the space over the middle that was open. Now, I'm not sure if that was just because Indiana was spying the quarterback or if there really is just a gaping hole in the middle of this defense. Obviously, that's something that may have to be cleaned up in film, but other than that, the defense was phenomenal. They allowed 9 points. One was a 50-yard field goal from a freshman kicker, Daniel Kinney. That was absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal performance. Exactly what we needed to see. I'll jump into the keys to success here. Number one was offensive execution. We needed to see what this offense could do. Obviously, we left a lot on the table last week. Sig said 35 points. He even said under his breath maybe 55 points. I think you could also argue that they left 14 to 21 points on the table this week too. But I mean, Mendoza was phenomenal, super efficient, threw for 200 plus yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 to Surratt. The offense looked explosive. We got the big play to Cooper. Hemby looked great. Beebe looked great. Black looked great. Charlie Becker caught a touchdown. I thought the offense looked great. Mendoza looked a lot more in sync. You could tell there was still a couple like times where he was off timing wise. A couple throws were behind. A couple drops, like uncanny drops from receivers that we weren't used to seeing last year. But based on the way the offense rebounded in the second half, like I don't expect that to be an issue. I thought offensive execution took a massive step forward. This was the first game in Fernando Mendoza's Heisman campaign. Heisman Mendoza off to a rolling start. The offense ran for over 300 yards again, and they put up 56 points. That was my prediction going into the game. I thought the starting offense would get there. I think the starting offense would have got there if Mendoza didn't take that awkward tackle out of bounds. Thankfully, got up with nothing wrong, but after that, pulled the hook, AM for FM, and didn't want to see Mendoza get injured there. But the offensive line looked phenomenal. Pass protection was great. The receivers were getting open. Surratt was the focal point of the offense, and he looked incredible. And I think, and I alluded to this in a tweet, but one of the visitors this weekend for Indiana was 5-star Lawrence North receiver Showtime Sales. And so I don't think it was an accident that Indiana was force feeding Elijah Surratt and that he had a big game. And I think everybody needed to see that. The next thing we needed to see was them shoring up the defensive line. Obviously, the 2 big plays last week for ODU were busted reads by defensive linemen. The defensive line looked phenomenal. I already mentioned 5 tackles for loss in the first quarter. Mikal Kamara showed up in a big way. He had 1 sack. I think he could have had another. I don't know if that was Daly or him swinging around the quarterback on that one. But they were suffocating. The defensive line was great. The rotations were tight because Kennesaw State ran at a high tempo. There wasn't much of an opportunity to substitute. But when guys got their opportunities, whether it was Wheeler, Tucker had an awesome game, especially early. But Wheeler, Tucker, Ratcliffe, Landino, all those guys were awesome. And there was no changes to the lineup, by the way. And Wyatt had himself a hell of a game. I believe at one point he had 9 tackles, including a couple tackles for loss. He was all over the place. The third thing I want to see is display depth, and obviously that was going to come in a blowout. And while it didn't come as quickly as like I would have liked it to, maybe we did see the full blown second team defense. We saw the full blown second team offense. Uh, the first team offensive line was in there on the touchdown drive, which I thought was interesting. Um, but we got to see some depth. We got to see Hollywood Bell get on the field. Gandy got on the field. Anthony Chung, and Jaja Boyd, the two second team safeties, got on the field. I didn't see who the boundary corner was, but I think it may have been Naim, but I'm not completely sure. I'll look at the snap counts tomorrow. And I didn't really see who was on the interior of that defensive line. But yeah, it was to see the second team offense out there, to see Charlie Becker catch 2 touchdowns, one getting called back, but to get 2, LeBron Baum was clearly involved. Jonathan Brady, again, electric and punt return. To see those guys out on the field to get valuable playing time, even though it was only a couple minutes, just exactly what we wanted to see from this game. 4, special teams continues to dominate. Special teams was awesome. Quinn Warren filling in for McCarthy at punter. He was phenomenal. He had the one coffin kick early in the game, but he was great. Obviously didn't need to use him too much, but great job filling in there. Radicic automatic at the free kick spot, obviously. And then Frankie was electric again, dropping kicks. I think he hit one out of bounds, if I'm not mistaken. But the game was already well out of hand at that point. And so if you're not going to be perfect, may as well waste those there. And then number 5 was make a statement. I said win by 20 plus, but need to look better than that. The line was 35.5. We were expecting a cover. They looked really good. The offense looked explosive. They made big plays. A lot of what people were worried about, especially with the red zone issues, and it's 7 minutes into this video, I haven't even brought up the red zone yet. They were extremely efficient in the red zone, aside from really that 1 4th down play where Mendoza got pressured early and threw the ball 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. The play calling was phenomenal. I believe they were 100% in the red zone in terms of scoring efficiency. So that was exactly what we needed to see. And in terms of what the perception of Indiana was going into this game, where there were a lot of question marks, especially around what the crispness of the offense was going to look like. And now you leave this game and we're going to have Heisman Mendoza trending, and Alberto got in the game and he threw a touchdown, and we got to see some explosive plays, and they ran for 300 yards again. And like, this is exactly what they needed to do to a team like Kennesaw State, who showed in parts of this game why they were considered to be so dangerous. Like, they were making big plays in the past game. You have that one play by Jamari Sharp where I didn't think he had the best game. I think the tempo kind of got to him a little bit, where he was confused in coverages sometimes. But to come up with a play like that after you were beat like that and to flip the momentum of this game, that was a massive play. And the fact that it looked like these issues, whether it was going to be the wide receiver drops or again like the red zone efficiency or like the lack of crispness from the offense, maybe would have reared their ugly heads again. The team was able to figure out a footing, and really after that Sharp play, turned it up. They really looked like the team we thought they were. It didn't look like Kennesaw State had the gas or the juice to be able to hang with them, and Indiana really put the game away. Brad predicted the score to be 62-3. I predicted 56-0. We were both right in the fact that Kennesaw State wasn't able to score touchdowns. And again, if you're going to hit a 50-yard field goal as a true freshman, good on you. But a dominating performance, exactly what we wanted to see from the Indiana Hoosiers. And yeah, it's funny if you go back to halftime and you see how frustrated everybody was, and you see how even I was, and then you look at like the Penn State score, and Penn State is up 10 on FIU, and so it is both. Like when you watch the way Indiana, I'll address it this way: when you watch the way Indiana played in the second quarter, you start to get nervous, and you start to have those thoughts of like, okay, well, if this is the team we're going to see all year, then maybe these dreams of like going into Oregon and beating Oregon, or going into Penn State, beating Penn State, or like having a dominant win at home against Illinois, maybe these really were just like fallacies. And then you watch the way the team settled down and dominated and controlled the game in the second half and really suffocated Kennesaw State as a defense, and the crispness of the way the offense looked. And that was exactly the team we expected to see coming into the season. And it's funny. I have never daunted, not even once. And like for parts of that second quarter, you could feel little bits of daunt start to like poke at you. But if you just watch the way this team operated, you watch the way Sig operated, like even after the Lewis Moore interception, he was chewing out Lewis Moore. So this team's just fine. They're executing at a high level. It's not perfect. They still have plenty of things to clean up. It's still going to be a week of practice where they're getting grilled on the field and in the film room, and there's things to clean up. And they won by 40. So we'll have the full breakdown tomorrow. I'll be back with Brad in the morning. We'll have snap counts. We'll have Sig's presser. We'll have a full breakdown of the game and a little bit of a breakdown of the weekend as well. But appreciate you guys for hanging out. Go Hoosiers. Big time win. Celebrate this one. That is exactly what these games are for. You're supposed to look good when you play these teams, and the Indiana Hoosiers look good. Don't take that for granted. You have to win the game you're playing, and the Indiana Hoosiers dominated this game. Appreciate you guys hanging out. I'll see you in the morning.